Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I really apologize about that. I'm using some faulty equipment here, trying to make blood out of stone, as they say, right? Unfortunately, I don't control laptop. No kind of technology do I control, right? Only the good Lord controls everything, both inanimate and animate. Anyways, I was giving you the story about the Zozo operation and what the security ops expert had to say about it, because he thinks while the murder rate has not been lowered by much, but he thinks Zozo is working, and that's his opinion. So, continuing with the news, I was given the opinion now. I was about to give the opinion of another person when the feed fell. So, according to a former JDF corporal who had over 2 decades of service under his belt, he said the Zozos and the state of emergency are, quote, a waste of money and time. I didn't say it, guys. I'm reading the news to you. This is a JDF soldier who spent over 20 years in the force, Jamaica Defense Force, and he is saying, in his opinion, which he's entitled to, based on his observation, that the Zozos and the states of emergencies are a waste of money and time. He pointed to the lack of seizures of illegal guns in flankers in Montego Bay and in Zozos in Mount Salem and other sections of the island as an example. Quote, in 2010, we launched a state of emergency in Montego Bay, the flanker area to be precise, and that community is a place known to have high powered weapons. It was in 2010, We would sit in the army base in Montego Bay, right below the community, and would see men there, all with rifles. This is the soldier speaking. You launch a state of emergency and you go up there, and for the period of the SOE, you find, say, 5 rifles out of nearly 5,000 in there. And when you take that 5, another 1,000 is coming in. How do we benefit from that? He asks. Hmm? From my vantage point, these SOEs and Zozos unwittingly have become a haven for criminals who smuggle weapons out of the communities, commit their crimes, sneak them back in, and are safe within that space given the presence of the security forces. That is the word of a corporal who did not wish to have his identity revealed. Yeah. Meanwhile, or even as the Andrew Holness administration launches a fourth ZOZO, Zone of Special Operations, in war-torn Augustown. As you know, I gave that report before, right? Another ZOZO is in Augustown, as you know. Researchers at the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, that is CAPRI, they say they have been struggling to secure critical data to evaluate the anti-crime strategy that has been implemented, that is the ZOZO. Yeah? Prime Minister Andrew Holness, like Member of Parliament Favour Williams for the St Andrew Eastern constituency in which Auguston falls, has repeatedly pointed to a general decrease in murders and shootings and residents' peace of mind as proof that the multi-million-dollar initiative is working. So according to them, it is working. I think it costs millions of dollars to run this operation. However, lead researcher at CAPRI, Dr. Diana Thorburn, argues that these variables alone are misleading and that a culture of secrecy in Jamaica shrouds any critical analysis of the Zozos that are already in Mount Salem in St. James and Denham Town and Greenwich Town in Kingston. Quote, it is very difficult to get information, and it is so bad that oftentimes we have to lean on our donors who are also donors to those agencies because these agencies just don't return our emails, they don't return our calls. Isn't that conflict of interest? Some of the basic data we ask for are on incidents and violent shootings data that would have related to the dispersal of crime or criminals. Yeah. So it's one thing to bring it, that is crime, down in one space, but are you able to say it has been stopped there, or is it going to, or is it going to in other places? Some of that geoinformic data, some of that is geoinformic data, she says. Quote, we wanted information on the spending, how much is actually being spent on the different areas, and what kind of accounting mechanism is there for that spending. What's the program design? What's informing the program design? These are questions that she has asked, right? I think there is a general culture of opacity that exists across the government, she argued, noting that the lack of transparency is contrary to what a democratic society ought to be. In the EU, sorry, the EU, European Union, is among the major sponsors of Capri projects and has placed much financial backing behind Zozo. Did you know that? I'm going to give you my 2 cents now because I'm going to bring another story to your attention to hear my 2 cents. So, according to her, EU backs Zozo, yeah? But Zozo is not the only project that Capri has struggled to get research data on. We have been trying to get information about the Combined Cadet Forces, the CCF, but we can't get anything. We have funding from the EU to do research on what are the program designs for specific interventions targeted at vulnerable youths, and we just can't get that information. So the EU pay for the Zozo, and they also pay for the agency to monitor the Zozo. Okay. When contacted on Friday, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said he was uncertain about what Capri required outside of what was submitted to Parliament each month. Quote, I'm not sure what more information she wants because there is a report that goes to Parliament and the donors each month speaking to the work being done. So, of course, EU is sponsoring, so they have to get a report. And according to the minister, it's the same report that is sent to Parliament. Okay, so every time we report to Parliament, we report in detail. A ministry paper goes in detailing what is expected, what is expended, and what is done. This is by law, the minister explained. Quote, it is there. Everything is in there. There is not much more. We have an obligation to report every 60 days to the Prime Minister, and a report is taken to Parliament for the renewal, which has to have all of that in there, such as details about social infrastructure and cost of the programs in the community. There's nothing more to it, Minister says. All right, so since we're talking about backing of initiatives in Jamaica, so let me give you this one. So now, I'm going through the Sunday paper, and I see an advertisement, depending on whether you're American or British, right? I saw this ad in the paper. It says, and it's from the Office of the Prime Minister. The Office of the Prime Minister, OPM, acting on behalf of the government of Jamaica, hereinafter called the Borough, has received financing in the amount equivalent to 68 million US dollars from the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, toward the cost of the implementation. The Borough, which is the government, intends to apply a portion of the funds to eligible payments under the contract for the upgrade improvement of the government's information and communication technology infrastructure. Payments by the bank will be subject in all aspects to the terms and conditions of the loan contract. Payments will be made only at the request of the borrower and upon approval by the bank in accordance with the terms and conditions of the financing contract between the borrower and the bank. No party other than the borrower shall derive any rights from the loan contract or have any claim to the funds. So basically, the money belongs to the government to do as they wish, bottom line. Yeah.